Allegheny Outdoor Show 2018. Not bad, I gotta say. Started off, there's a lot more baits here this year. There's a lot more vendors. There's a lot more kayaks. Actually kind of impressed versus the last couple of years. So far so good. How are you guys doing today?
What's up, Yins, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. In this episode, we're going to talk about the 33rd Annual Allegheny Sports and Travel Show held in the Monroeville Convention Center in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Now, this year's show was sponsored by one of my favorite breweries in all of Pennsylvania, and that's North Country Brewing out of Slippy Rock, PA. Now, North Country is known for excellent food, but they're known for even better craft beers. On their menu, you're going to find the Station 33 Firehouse Ale. You're going to find their Stinky Hippie, and at the show this year, they were pushing their Buck Snort Stout. So first things first, when you guys get out to the show, if you like craft beer, head over to the beer garden and check out North Country Brewing. You can't go wrong. For the love of beer, check out brewing news at North Country's booth at the Allegheny Outdoor Show. Okay, before we get started, I just want to talk about the vendor list as well as the seminar list that was given to us when we walked into the front door. This year, there was a lot more vendors at this show than there has been in the past 3 or 4 years, which was a good thing. However, I wish they would have included a vendor map with this information so I could actually see where everybody was at instead of walking around the whole show trying to figure out where I wanted to go. Okay, to get started, I want to talk about some of the bait companies that were there, and really one in particular that I thought was fantastic. So at this show, there wasn't a lot of bait companies, but the companies that were there actually had a decent selection of baits. But first and foremost, I want to talk about a company that was new to me. I had a chance to talk to these guys, and they were outstanding. They were very knowledgeable, they were super approachable, and they would help you find exactly what you're looking for, which is more than I got from the other companies at the show. So I want to highlight Scared Fishless Tackle Company. If you guys can see that, Scared Fishless Tackle Company. And what they do is they do handcrafted plastic baits. In particular, what I was looking for was Ripple Runner type shad swim baits, and that's what we have here. And also in that pattern, which is an angry perch pattern. These can be fished on these types of jigs, any type of swim bait jig. Here's their business card if you guys want to take a look at that. I urge you to go online if you're going to be fishing plastic worms, plastic craws, plastic shads, swim baits. They have them all. And the nice thing is they have different sizes. So they have your 3.5 for smallmouth, your 4.5 for largemouth. They go all the way up to 9 inches for pike and muskie. They didn't have any of those baits at the show this year, but those guys, again, they directed me to the website. Fantastic group of guys. I would tell you to check them out first and foremost because I think they're going to be a dynamic bait this year. And just the level of service that I got was second to none at this year's show. All right, so the second product I really wanted to highlight from this year's show had to do with hands-free fishing. Now, I saw this company called Hands-Free Fishing on the vendor list, and I had never talked to this gentleman before. First thing I did when I walked in the door, I noticed his booth right to the right of the entrance. I went over, and him and his wife were standing there, and I had the pleasure of talking with this couple. They were extremely nice, an older couple. I loved talking with them throughout the night as we were at the show. Again, great product. So I wanted to highlight this for you guys. Just take a look at the couple there, if you guys can see them. And fish hands free. And the product that they have is actually a rod holder. You guys can see that attaches to your vest. If you can see the picture. So it attaches to your vest, and what it does is it allows you to, when you're fishing in a stream or you're fishing on a boat or a lake or whatever, and you're fiddling around with your rod, you can actually dock that rod on your vest or your sweatshirt or whatever. They have pins in the back, and they have essentially screws that go into it to tighten it to your fabric. They don't rip your clothing. They just hold on there tight. And then what it does is it uses the weight of the rod to balance it on your chest so that you can go hands-free and take that fish off or put that lure on or change that leader or do whatever you're going to do. I think it's a phenomenal product. I debated about buying one because I don't do a lot of stream fishing. I'm going to throw it on my vest or I'm going to throw it on my sweatshirt, and I'm going to give it a shot because you know what? It's one of those products at $15. I'm not losing any money, and I think this could be really, really beneficial for you guys for the upcoming fishing season. Okay, the only other highlight I have from a lure or a product standpoint was there was a company there that was selling essentially rattle traps and all kinds of additional baits. They had deals, you know, buy one rattle bait like that for $5, or you buy 3 for 10, depending upon what the vendor was. When you walk into the show and you go to the left, there was a vendor on the corner, and there was a vendor on the other side of that corner over by the trout pond. And again, this was a much better selection. In my opinion, the show was better this year when it came to products and baits. The last 3 or 4, I would tell you that the show was terrible. Just being honest, I don't like to try to degrade people's work, but the show hasn't been up to par. This year it was better. I think that gave me a little bit more hope for the Allegheny Outdoor Show. So again, you know, if you guys are looking to buy these types of baits, check out those couple of vendors and get yourself some cheap rattle baits or some cheap musky baits that they had there, 2 for 25. I think it's worth checking out. When I think Allegheny Outdoor Show, I think Lake Erie walleye charters. Now this show had a wealth of Lake Erie walleye charters there, but I talked to all of them. I can tell you the best by far was A&J. If you guys are looking for a Lake Erie walleye charter, take a look at A&J. They give you a full 8 hours, not dock to dock, but full 8 hours of fishing. The second one that I talked to was Recognize. This was a really nice guy. He seemed pretty interested in taking us out fishing. So, you know, their rates are pretty similar, but check those out. And the last one I wanted to talk about was DB Sports and Fish Charters. This gentleman also out of Ohio, though. He was very friendly, very nice to talk to. So I think if you're looking for a walleye charter out of Ashtabula or potentially any of those other ones like Port Clinton, you know, these are going to be good options for you. There were a ton of kayaks at this show. Between Performance Kayak and River's Edge, they had all the new models displayed. They had a lot of Jacksons, they had some Hobies, they had a lot of different type brands. They had a lot of good colors of kayaks. They had a lot of packages to go with them, and the prices were outstanding this year. So if you guys are in the market for a kayak, the Allegheny Outdoor Sports and Travel Show 2018 is a great option for you to go out there, take a look at that equipment, and get yourself that mobile boat for this upcoming fishing season. Okay, I just want to talk about a few other vendors here from a hunting perspective. First and foremost, Outdoor News. Outdoor News was in the house, and they had their subscriptions, as you guys can see on this video. They had some of their deals, which is great. If you guys like Outdoor News, that was a great show to pick up your subscription. Also, I wanted to talk about a few different companies that were there. Archer's Edge. Archer's Edge was there. And also, I got to talk to a few gentlemen from Heated Hunts. Now, Heated Hunts. This product is kind of interesting. This is essentially a scent wick with 4 batteries. You hit the button and it heats your scent up to 103 degrees, which essentially makes that scent, I guess, more available for the deer that are moving around your area. They had a lot of different types of scents. They had sweet corn and acorn and dirt for ground cover, but they also had estrus and those types of scents available. So I think it's a good product. It was a little expensive. It was $39.99 for the unit plus the scents. So you guys are probably looking at about $80 to even get invested into that. But take a look at it. It seemed like it would be a good product for this year. And that's pretty much I have from a hunting standpoint, other than the wealth of taxidermy and different vendors that would take you out there and get you a big buck or a bear or whatever you're out there looking to hunt. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about regarding the Allegheny Outdoor Show. This is one of my favorite things to do, and this is the reason why I go to this show every year. And that is for my opportunity to talk to the Game Commission, the Boat and Fish Commission, and also the DCNR about state parks, hiking, and that sort of thing. I got to spend some time with Boat and Fish, and I can tell you these two guys were very knowledgeable. I asked them about recent drain lakes like Somerset and Donegal to try to get a feel for time frames. I talked to them a little bit about regulations. I talked to them a little bit about lakes in general to try to get an idea for where they're stocking, where they're not stocking, from an overall health standpoint of certain fish like muskie and pike and bass. And I can tell you, it was a great conversation. I thanked both of them for their service from a standpoint of Boat and Fish. Not a lot of guys do that. I work within and I fish within the regulations. I'll tell you, I do everything legally on purpose because I have a healthy respect for not only the state, but I have a healthy respect for the fish and the Boat Commission that tries to protect those resources for us so that they can, so that we can actually go out and catch those fish every year. So, again, it was an awesome opportunity, to get information like this and like this, your fish identification guides and your gone fishing information. And also you could talk to the game commissioner and get right up on coyotes, get some information on white-tailed deer. There's a lot of good things that come from these groups. And again, Pennsylvania State Parks and Forests, awesome. And the reason it's awesome is because we're planning a number of camping and hiking trips this year, and they will actually help you identify what time of year you want to go. And they give you these awesome maps, which hopefully you can see this, to help you plan out your trips. Take a look at some of the actual campgrounds and state parks out there. One of the things we started doing, which I also thanked them for yesterday, was the passport book, which is in my truck, so I can't show it to you. But check out the passport book. If you guys like to camp, if you like to hike, if you like to just see the state of Pennsylvania, the PA Passport Book State Parks Guide is phenomenal. You can get out there, you can see the parks, you can see the trails, you can see all the attractions throughout the state of Pennsylvania, and you can get a stamp to log that you've been to those sites. So again, this was a reason why I wanted to go to the Outdoor and Travel Show. It's a great opportunity for you guys to talk with PA's finest from a Game Commission, Boat and Fish, and from a DCNR standpoint. All right, let's try to wrap this thing up. So, the Allegheny Outdoor Sports and Travel Show 2018. I'm going to say this about the show. It was better than the last 3 or 4 years, which is encouraging to me. There were good vendors. There were knowledgeable vendors. The seminars were okay. Some of the products that were there were okay. It's starting to show a little bit of life. The last couple of years, it was a rough show to go to. There weren't a lot of vendors. There weren't a lot of information. It just really wasn't worth the price of admission. But this year, at $9 with a coupon, my opinion is that the show is worth going to. If nothing else, to pick up your subscription of Outdoor News, to talk to the Game Commission, the Boat and Fish Commission, and the DCNR, to take a look at Lake Erie, charters, plan your trips. If you guys are interested in kayaks, get out there and take a look at some kayaks, talk some fishing, talk some hunting with these guys that are available, and it will be beneficial. It's one of those things that you will get out of what you put into it. So check out the Allegheny Outdoor and Travel Show, February 16th, 17th, 18th at Monroeville Convention Center. If you guys like what you're seeing, please either like the episode or subscribe to my channel. If there's something you guys want to see in particular with regards to fishing or Fishing PA, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, this was Ryan Reed with Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. Thank you guys very much for your time. Take care.